Hey everyone, this is Joe from the Joe&ZO pod, inviting you to pull up a chair and we'll talk a little cards. Today we have some TTM responses for you guys to see, 3 of them, so let's get right into it. First one is postmarked Phoenix, Arizona, and it is Mr. Jeff Fassero. He signed 1 of 1 in 9 days. Fassero played in the majors from 91 to 2006. He played for a few teams. Get ready for this list: Montreal, Seattle, Texas, Boston, the Chicago Cubs, St. Louis, Colorado, Arizona, and finished off his career with San Francisco. His career numbers: he had a 23.7 WAR. He was 121 and 124 in his record, a 4.11 ERA, and a 1.38 WHIP. He was drafted in the 22nd round by the St. Louis Cardinals in 1984. So he didn't make it to the majors till 1991. So he was already 28 years old by the time he made it to the majors. But then he spent from 91 to 06, so he spent 16 years in the majors after that. So it took him a while to get there, but then he stuck around for a while. He started off as a starter. By the last third of his career, approximately, he had been converted to a reliever. And his best season was probably 1997 with the Seattle Mariners, when he went 16-9 with a 3.61 ERA in 234 innings. So that is Mr. Fassero. It's a pretty nice signature. Let me turn the light on over here to give you guys some better lighting. And that's our first card today. The second one is postmarked from Birmingham, Alabama. And it is Mr. Russ Davis. He signed 1 of 1 in 9 days. He played from 1994 to 2001 with the Yankees, the Mariners, and the Giants, primarily with the Mariners. Career numbers not as flashy as Jeff Fassero. He had a negative .3 WAR for his career. He had 257, 84 homers, 276 RBIs, and a 755 OPS. He was drafted in the 29th round of the 1989 draft by the Yankees. So he didn't get to the majors till 94, so it also took him 5 years to get to the majors. But if I remember correctly, in the early 90s, it was typical for players to spend longer in the minors than they do nowadays. So I don't think that was a crazy amount of time. He definitely was not as old as Jeff Fassero when Jeff Fassero made it. He was still in his mid-20s. He has 2 interesting tidbits about him, 2 bits of baseball trivia historically about Russ Davis. The first one is that he was the first person to hit a home run at Safeco Field, which was the Mariners Stadium they built after they left the Kingdom. And the second one is that he was part of a big trade between the Yankees and the Mariners. Again, he started off with the Yankees. He was drafted by them. He made his major league debut with them. But then he was traded along with Sterling Hitchcock, who also became a pretty good pitcher, to the Mariners for, get this, Tino Martinez, Jeff Nelson, and Jim Messier. So that's a pretty good trade for the Yankees. Tino Martinez is obviously a big part of their late 90s dynasty in New York. So I would say that worked out pretty well for the Yankees. Russ Davis was a pretty well-regarded prospect, which is why he would fetch that much of a return. And I think Sterling Hitchcock, who went along with Davis, the Mariners, actually came back to the Yankees at a certain point. But he was a pretty good pitcher for a few years with the San Diego Padres, if I remember correctly. So that's Russ Davis. His best season was probably in 1998 with Seattle, when he hit 259 with 20 homers and 82 RBIs. And that is Russ Davis. Now, our last one for today is postmarked North Houston, Texas. a little bit different, a little bit change of gears. We have 2 football cards from Mr. Jeff Query. think that's how you would pronounce it. Not 100% sure, but that's what it seems like to me. He signed 2 of 2 in 9 days. You can see those are very nicely done signatures. He played from 1989 to 1995 with the Packers and Bengals, and then he played 1 game at the end of his career with the Washington, then known as the Washington Redskins. His career numbers, 141 catches, 1,865 yards, and 11 receiving touchdowns. Not huge numbers for somebody who played, I think it's 6 years or 7 years, but he was primarily a punt returner with Green Bay. He was drafted in the 5th round by the Packers, spent a few seasons with them, and then went over to Cincinnati. His best season was probably in 1993, when he had 56 catches for 654 yards and 4 touchdowns. And once again, he signed 2 of 2. So those are the results from today. Jeff Fassaro, Russ Davis, Jeff Query. These guys are generally, if you look up their addresses on the Sports Card Forum, they generally are fast signers and good signers. And as you can see, they came back to me pretty quickly, 9 days for all 3. So that's it for today. Looking forward to seeing you guys next time. Until then, this is the Joe and Zoe pod saying, see you later.